Alright, so this video is going to be a little bit different, and it is about guitar tips. Now, I specifically do not want this channel to turn into a guitar tutorial channel, but this is about a story. It is the story of a Nigerian man who reached out to me about 2 months ago, and he asked me to take a look at his playing. Now, as a musician, you get a lot of people that also play music in your circle of friends. So oftentimes, since being an independent musician is almost like running a small business, a lot of them will want to advertise. So you will get a lot of spam. You will get a lot of unsolicited ads of, hey, come watch my video, come join me on Facebook, follow me on Snapchat or whatever. And that's all well and good, but it's usually way too much for one person to handle. So normally I'm quite skeptical of these things, but in this case it was a little bit different because this guy reached out to me and it seemed just so genuine. The way he talked, the way he played, the way he looked at things in general, it just seemed so genuine to me. And he was not trying to show off how good he is. He was just asking for help. He was asking for tips. He was asking for advice. Therefore, I felt this was a totally different situation. I took a closer look at his story. And it turns out that he has never had any guitar lesson in his life. He has not had one single lesson in his life. And yet he has 7 students. He has 7 students that all live in the same place where he went to university, which is apparently a totally different state from where he lives. And so he doesn't see them very often, and he only teaches them via Facebook or Skype. And it turns out that he's got students that listen to him and follow him when he himself is entirely self-taught and has never had a lesson in his life. Now, I think that is absolutely amazing. I am absolutely in awe of people that have been self-taught, possibly because I've always had lessons ever since I was a kid. I've always had teachers helping me out. So as soon as I heard about this, I had to check it out. It turns out that once I start digging deeper into this guy's story, he tells me that there's basically no guitar teachers at all in the entirety of Nigeria. And that it has been his dream for so long to be a classical guitarist, to learn how to play the guitar, to live from doing music, to come to Europe or to other places and play for people and to just live the musician life. And he has never had a chance to really do that because there are no teachers in his country. Now, I don't know if there's literally no teacher at all in the entirety of Nigeria or if they're just too hard to reach, but I think this is an absolutely fascinating story, partially because I know what it feels to be isolated. So I come from Romania and I've always had teachers in Romania, but I know that just a few decades before I was born, there were no teachers at all for this instrument in my home country. And just after that, in the beginning of the Romanian guitar school, there was one guy that taught everybody, one teacher who I think studied in France and brought back his knowledge and taught everybody. So me indirectly and everybody else that is playing guitar in Romania has a debt to this guy. He started the Romanian guitar school. He sort of got it going. And I think that we are in a situation right now where we can do the same for others. For other places that do not have a guitar school, for people that want to express themselves through music and really just never had an opportunity to learn this properly, to do this the right way. So this is why I want to do this today. He asked me to take a look at his videos. I actually volunteered a few Skype lessons, but he says that he prefers me to upload them on YouTube or Facebook because his connection probably is not good enough for Skype calls. You know, I don't think that he has a connection at home. I think he actually goes to a library, he mentioned, in order to be online. Now, let's just get started. I'm just dying to help this guy out. All right, so the last piece that he recorded is this study by Matteo Carcassi, famous Italian classical composer. Matteo Carcassi, Opus 60, the 3rd study. So let's take a look at that. I've got his video running over here. I'm not gonna play the whole thing because it's 3 minutes long and I don't want this video to become super long, but I will link to it. So if you want to listen to his original performance, go to the links in the doobly-doo. You'll find everything there. All right, let's get started. All right, this is all sounding great. So the first thing I want to say is that you are playing so much better now than a few months ago when you initially reached out to me. Now, I took a really long time to get back to you because I was I was traveling. I mean, I got back to you immediately, but I took like 2 months to record this because I was always traveling, always busy. I just managed to get home now. In any case, in these 2 months, you've made such an amazing improvement. It's actually unbelievable. So your sound is a lot better. You are playing on better strings. It all sounds so much better. Now, let's take a look at this. I had the music somewhere. Let me. I just had the music. I just had the music. I just had it. It was under my armchair. I moved some stuff around for the recording and yeah, it was under my... So, I'm seeing at the beginning of the piece, you're doing everything right. You are playing an arpeggio. This entire study just consists of arpeggios. And the first one that you have is this thing over here. My buttons are buzzing on the guitar. Okay, much better. So what I do when I have an arpeggio like this is I like to put down all of my fingers of my right hand. I put them on the strings at the same time. Now this is called preparation. We do this a lot in the sort of guitar school that I belong to. We put down all of the 4 fingers of our right hand on the strings at the same time, right? And then when their time comes, they just play. I think that this is a lot of help. I know that some guitarists will disagree with me. I know that there are some guitar schools out there that do not like this way of thinking about technique, but I think it has a basis in reality. I think it's based on the sort of chords, natural chords of the guitar. Actually, if you look at this piece, I don't want to go too music theory, too deep into music theory with this, but this entire piece could be seen as a bunch of chords. Just a bunch of chords that are not played at the same time. So whether you play this the way that I just played it, or you play it like... It makes no difference for the right hand. It should make no difference for the right hand. Now, if you play every note separately, this is with no preparation, the way my teacher calls it, from the air, from above, then you have to do more effort, your right hand has to do more effort in order to find every string. Your hand will end up jumping a bit more and it will be less secure. So I think preparation really, really helps. But now comes the interesting part. Preparation does not only have to happen at the beginning of the piece, but throughout the piece, everywhere there is a chord, everywhere there's a chord-like formation that allows you to prepare without breaking up the melody, you should do it. Now, in this piece, for example, I would prepare once at the beginning of the bar, all 4 fingers on a string, and then I would prepare again for the last 3 notes of the bar. Then I'll prepare again for the second bar, again for the last 3 notes of the second bar. Then again for the 4th bar. And for the last 3 notes of the 4th bar. So since this piece is very formulaic, you have a bunch of bars that are structured very similarly, you can basically prepare everywhere the same way. And the preparations that I would do are at the beginning of each bar and for the last 3 notes of each bar. Now, the reason that I'm not preparing in the middle is that I don't want to cut off the melody. You could theoretically go like... Obviously the melody will get cut short if you do that. It will sound like... Which could be an effect that you could be going for, but I don't think that it is correct. I don't think that this is what the composer wanted in this case. Alright, so you were asking me in one of your messages if I can help you with connecting the notes better, the melody better, but I'm not hearing that as a problem at all. I'm not hearing the melody being disconnected. You're not playing the way I just showed you as a negative example. You're playing the notes in the melody all connected, you know? I don't know who told you to work at that, but I'm not seeing that problem. Maybe, I mean, the audio is not perfect in your recording, which I know how hard it is to get good audio. Trust me, I'm not dissing the quality of your videos at all. I'm just saying, I'm not hearing that problem at all. Let me listen to this once again. Absolutely no problem at all. Do not worry about that. Your melody notes are perfectly connected. Do not worry about that. So I would prepare every bar with my right hand and then every 3 notes of the bar. When I say preparing preparing the last 3 notes of the bar, what I mean is I place them onto the guitar at the same time and I play after that. So I will do this once again. This is all 4 fingers on the string, no preparation, and then all 3 fingers on the strings at the same time without the last one, because we don't need it yet. We don't need the ring finger yet. And then all 4 finger, including the ring finger for the next bar, no preparation until here. 3 fingers again, and then all 4 fingers. I'm gonna get closer to you so you can see this better. So all 4 fingers on the strings at the same time. Then no preparation here. Then these 3 fingers on the strings at the same time. And then all 4 fingers, without the small one of course, without the pinky. All 4 fingers on the guitar. And then all 3. Then all 4. I don't think that's the right chord, but it doesn't matter. It applies for every bar. All right, so this is what I do for my right hand. Now this is an important concept. The concept of preparation is an important concept for me. And I think that it really helps in a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces have this sort of arpeggio-based structure, and it helps in pretty much all of them. There are situations when you cannot do it because you don't want to cut off the melody, but generally this is almost always applicable in classical guitar. And you can do a little exercise to practice this. I'm not saying that this is the only way that you should play arpeggios, but I'm saying that you should develop this technique so that you can make your life easier, and make your hand's life easier and your brain life easier. Because your brain has to tell every finger to move separately. If you put all of your fingers on the strings at the same time, that is one movement, your brain registers it as one movement, then every finger movement will be one tiny adjustment to that original movement. You are cutting off movements from your brain. You have to think about less things. So I suggest doing this really simple exercise for this. Just start with open strings. You don't need to do anything with the left hand yet. And just play an E minor chord. And go back to where you started. Just play that, like the beginning to Nothing Else Matters from Metallica. Probably know that song. I don't know if you listen to Metallica in Nigeria. Do you like Metallica? Do you like any other non-classical pieces as well? And it doesn't matter. So just play this arpeggio, going back to where you started. And every time you start the arpeggio, you put down all 4 fingers at the same time. So all 4 fingers at the beginning, then all 4 fingers again here, and all 4 fingers again. Now you do that without resting in the middle, without including a rest, a break in the middle. All right, so you just do like this. All right, no, the Metallica thing is not the important one, but this exercise will help you with this sort of piece that you have right now. Although this piece itself could be an exercise for this. It could actually work for this aspect. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is the dynamics of this piece. I don't want you to get too crazy about dynamics at this stage. I know that this is a never-ending subject, and you can always adjust things and make them a little bit better dynamically and from the point of view of, expression of music. But what I'm trying to do here is give you the tools, the sort of technical tools that you need in order to express yourself the way that you want it. Now, in this piece, because it's a study, Carcassi put down very explicit dynamics that you might not see in a regular piece, where you have a diminuendo, a decrescendo, from the highest note in every bar to the next one. I probably cannot see that, but you have a diminuendo in every bar, and that I think is because the first chord is always dissonant, is always more interesting than the resolution. Classical music often works based on the principle of tension and resolution, and the first chord being more dissonant is always more tense than the second chord, which is more consonant and more relaxed. So if you think about this chord like again, Carcassi wants you to accentuate slightly the more dissonant chord. So you go da 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 da. Now, I'm not good at singing, but I think this is what Karkasi is going for. So maybe try to do that when you play. Don't go crazy about it. Don't start jumping around with your hand in order to do that. Just a tiny hint of dynamics of going forward and then backward for the consonant chord. So. Oh, sorry, I missed the 3 notes at the end of the bar. Now, after you've done this, we will talk about fingers resting on other strings, because you can also do that to help. You can also use fingers of your right hand to rest on other strings when you're not using them. I did that a few times in this piece, but I don't want to give you too much information at once. I think this piece is working great, and this advice should help you develop better right hand technique and might be useful in the future. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will talk about other pieces next. So next time we do this, you should send me your updated recordings and I will take a look at those. I actually have a few questions for you, and why not ask them in video format if we're doing this here as well. Now, you mentioned that you would really love to be able to learn from me and from my friends who have also been exposed to the sort of larger classical music world. So I want to ask, are your students based in the same town? I know that's far away from where you live, but I'm thinking there has to be some way that at some point, maybe not now, maybe not next year, but at some point, there has to be some way to bring some teachers over from Europe or from any other place, some people that can really help build a community around the guitar. I'm thinking there has to be something that we can do with your determination of learning guitar, you know, completely by yourself, and posting all of these videos and doing all of this work and all of your positivity. There has to be something that we can do to help. So what I'm thinking is, I know a lot of foundations and private companies and governments exist around the world that really want to help with this. So there might be some way that we can make this happen, that we can organize some sort of guitar camp, or at least do something to help you guys out. So tell me, is everybody else based in the same town? Is there any way that we could bring you over there and have a more concentrated, physically concentrated group of people that want to learn guitar at some point? And also, I want to address this question to the other viewers of this video, not to Taiwo himself. If there's anything that you can do to help, if there's, I don't know, if you have a guitar, a good guitar lying around that you could send to Taiwo. I think he doesn't even play on a classical guitar. I think that looks like a cutaway acoustic guitar that he uses nylon strings on. So if anybody has a good guitar lying around that they would be willing to send, or if anybody can volunteer Skype lessons, or if anybody, even most importantly, knows any sort of sponsorship situation that we can use to help these guys out, let me know, because I really want to do something. I really want to make a difference, and I think together we might be able to help these guys build a community around their passion. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Trying to sort of lift yourself out of your own condition using music. I think that's one of the most beautiful things there are. I can identify with your situation so well, although I've never been in such a difficult situation of not having a teacher at all. I can identify with this so well, and I've been helped so much throughout my life. I really feel like there has to be some way that we can give back. So Taiwo, let me know what other ideas you have about how we may help you. Keep sending me your videos and your stuff, and to everybody else that is watching this, let me know how you can help. Maybe we can do something for this guy. All right, guys, I gotta run. I have to practice a little bit more. I have a rehearsal later, and I have to go out during the evening. So I'm gonna catch you guys later. Thank you for watching.